I'm going to share with you a marketing concept that if you listen to, absorb, and implement this strategy, it's a methodology that's pure gold. And if you absorb what I'm about to tell you and implement it, it could change your life and business forever. I'm going to share with you a concept that was the biggest sales thing the record industry did for more than 30 years, through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the 80s. And it starts with this, the vinyl record. Now, for those of you younger than me, which is probably a large majority, we used to play music on these things years ago. Deep within the grooves of this record is a methodology and concept that will change your life and business forever. Okay, so it started off with the A side of the record, the hit, the one the radio DJs played. They played the record, it was the A side. Listener would hear it, they'd run to the record store. They would buy a copy of it, bring it home, and play the heck out of this for 10 or 15 or 20 times. What happened next is they would flip over and listen to the B side. But the idea for the B side is to lure people in. It's to lure that listener in, so the listener thinks, I like that song a little bit too. Now I like 2 songs. Maybe I'll go out and buy the album. 10 songs on the 33 RPM album. If they like that, they might run out and buy another album. They might buy more albums from a different artist on the same record label. It's a food chain. The food chain starts with a B-side record. Well, something really interesting happened during the course of music over 30 years. What you see on the screen here are 45 records that show a lot of A-sides. What happened that was unique is the radio DJs began playing the B-sides saying, that's a pretty good song. You know what? I'm going to give that a chance and see if my listeners like it. Look at that song in the top right, Substitute by Gloria Gaynor. Anybody here remember it? No. But you might remember her bigger hit, I Will Survive. If you look at these songs as they're flipped over and look at some of the mega hits that changed the life of these artists and their careers forever because somebody gave that B-side a chance. There are B-sides in your life and business that are sitting on your low shelf of opportunity. They could be in marketing, they could be in advertising, they could be in sales, they could be in product launches, in hiring employees, in best practices, policies and procedures. They could be in performance routines. I believe everybody here has an idea for something that they haven't developed. That's what creativity is.
I just finished Larry Williams' rehearsal dinner revenue seminar, and it was awesome. As you look at these notes I took, I got like 6.5 pages of notes. Pure content, awesome stuff you can put into action, you can implement it right away.
I'm a huge fan of Walt and everything that he has built. He used to call it the show. That was his name for every day at Disneyland. It was called the show. And his employees, who he calls cast members, were there to perform for the guests. You probably may or may not have heard a thing called Make a Magical Moment. Show of hands, anybody ever heard of this? It's called Make a Magical Moment. If you search Google or look for it online, you'll find time after time after time these wonderful stories from guests who have visited Disneyland and they've had something magical happen that they never thought possible, they didn't plan for. What happens is the supervisors instill into their employees at the park the idea to go out and do something great, to go out and make a magical moment. They're allowed to give out fast passes at will. Right before a Cinderella show on the big stage, they'll grab a little girl and her parents and take her backstage and make her a fairy godmother in training. You've been to the park and you've seen these floats where normal everyday citizens are on the floats. They didn't pay a fee to be there. It wasn't because they knew somebody. They were selected at random in the audience to have a magical moment happen for them.
I just took Larry Williams' seminar on the rehearsal dinner revenue, and I found it so fascinating that I actually took 4 pages worth of notes. This is definitely going to open up some more doors for me and give me some more revenue streams as well. So, Larry, thank you.
Customer service, to me, I learned it many years ago, as many of you probably started in retail just out of high school. Can I see a show of hands how many people did that? A large majority of us do. I started off in retail, and I worked for a place called Licorice Pizza Records and Tapes. While I was working there, I was a key holder, okay, and had my eyes and heart set on management. I wanted to get into an assistant manager position, then finally a manager. My friend was a manager there at Chief Auto Parts. He said, Larry, we want you to come work for us. You're great with customers. You have great managerial skills. You know you're not going to get promoted for quite some time. Would you consider coming over here? I said, well, Dave, I don't know anything about auto parts. I don't have the foggiest notion of a water pump and a head gasket and all that. He says, we'll train you. We'll bring you in as an assistant manager, and we'll train you at auto parts. You'll learn everything there is to know. And within a year, you'll have your own store. Well, that was my dream. I wanted to be in management. I wanted to work with employees and people. So I said, great. It was more lucrative, too, which always helps when you're young. So I said, great. I went over to Chief Auto Parts. Worked there for about 6 months. And, I didn't like going to work every day. I was failing miserably at my job. I wasn't enjoying it. I know you've all had jobs you didn't enjoy. But I couldn't put my finger on it right away. What was it about this job that I didn't like? And then it dawned on me. It's the customers. I didn't like helping them. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I started thinking, it's like, well, at the record store, people were coming in with their happy money. They're very pleased to be there and spend their extra money from allowance, and after they paid some bills, they're buying a form of entertainment. That was great. They were all in happy, good moods. What kind of person walks into an auto parts store? Something's broke on their car. They're very angry. They're not happy to be there. They're not happy customers at all. They have attitude, a short attention span. And I was on the other side of that. And I wasn't, doing this well. That's when I first realized not all customers are the same.
He brought areas into focus to me that I never thought about, and I am so excited to implement these new ideas for the first time in a long time. I'm pumped, all because of Larry, and I think things are going to be a home run. Larry, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The most important chapter in your life and in your business is yet to be achieved. Follow your dreams. Develop your B-sides. Dream, believe, dare, and do. It's time we turn that page. It's time we flip that record over and show the world that it's our talent, our timing, and creativity that is the forefront of all we do. You are the final piece of the puzzle. Success in your life and in your business begins and ends with you. Follow your dreams, and you can make it happen. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you.